Smackdown Hot Take. This is where I ask you guys, you gals, your opinions and hot takes on the previous episode of Smackdown. I also do it for Raw and PLEs. All the cool YouTubers are doing it, and I want to be a cool YouTuber, so I'm going to do it. And where will I ask these? The community tab, and as the channel grows, I'll have Twitter, Facebook, wherever, and we'll just, keep it going. So first one comes from Come At Me Now. He says, I feel a tag team of Carmelo and Andrade is on the horizon. I agree. I really think that these two are going to be a tag team very, very soon. This best of 7 match setup, they did it with Benoit and Booker T. They didn't become a tag team. However, this best of 7 matchup has led to one of the most underrated tag teams, in my opinion, The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. They beat each other up so much that they eventually got respect for each other and became The Bar, and I loved that tag team. I think that was one of my favorite iterations of Sheamus. Unfortunately, they had, when they lost their tag team championship to Braun Strowman and Nicholas, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted Nicholas to tag into that match, but I don't like the fact that they lost to a 10-year-old. But regardless, that was an awesome, underappreciated tag team, and I think that I agree with Come At Me Now in that Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, they will be a tag team very, very soon. Monster Jabroni has the hottest of hot takes. This one is just like, whew, it burns. It burns going down. Hot take, question mark. I don't think Roman Reigns has been good since he left the Shield. Okay, Monster Jabroni. You know what? I've said multiple times on this channel that it is not an echo chamber. You are allowed to have a different opinion than myself. You are free to voice it. I'm going to say, though, that I'm very surprised to hear this because the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, almost everybody universally thinks that that is the top tier, not just Roman Reigns, but maybe wrestler in general. So if you feel that, more power to you. I, however, do not. I was not a fan of the Roman Reigns that was shoved down our throat for so many years, but you could say that was after he left the Shield. So if you're just talking specifically the Shield Roman Reigns, I don't know. I still like the Tribal Chief so much better. I liked Bad Guy Shield, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Roman, he didn't really have much personality to me, but again, hey, you love that version? Great. Unfortunately for you, the Tribal Chief is going to be the version you get from now on until the end of his career, probably. Fortunate for me, though, because the Tribal Chief is actually my favorite version of Roman Reigns. In fact, most of Roman's career was either met with I don't like him or I don't care about him. One of the two. But now, since the Tribal Chief, I love Roman and I acknowledge Roman. But hey, you can acknowledge Shield Roman Reigns all you want as well. You are free to do that. It is a free country, my friend. And here's a hot take for you. I want to quit my job, and in doing so, I'm going to give away this belt right here. All you got to do to get it is comment below. Once you comment, you're entered into a contest. Once I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away the belt. If you've already subscribed, please hit the notification button. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the notification button. The moral of the story is hit the notification button because that is the best way to get me to 10,000 subscribers because you'll be notified whenever I do new content. And if you click on that content within the first 10 hours, that shows YouTube that the video is worth watching and it'll send it out to more wrestling YouTube viewers. And the more people they watch the channel, the more people they subscribe. I get to 10,000. I ship you the belt once I look at the comments that I pick randomly. Hey, I'll send it to that person. So, guys, girls, please, please, please comment, subscribe, hit the notifications. Next hot take. Idea. Ella and Isaac says, LA Knight is currently the best champion in the WWE. I'm agreeing for right this moment, and I even did a video a while back saying that LA Knight's championship was greater than Cody Rhodes. However, Cody Rhodes' title is really, really heating up, and Gunther's actually been on a roll as well. So I'm going to say, for the moment, I'm kind of a little torn, and it seems like the world title, Cody's title, and LA Knight are all on the same par, and maybe even Jey Uso's kind of creeping back up there because of his win being so monumental, but I feel that as we get closer and closer and closer to WrestleMania, that Cody's title reign is finally going to come into its own and take off. But if you want to say LA Knight is the strongest title, the best booked title holder right now, I totally get that comment. Big Tuna! I love Big Tuna. Reminds me of The Office. Andy would always call Jim, "Hey, Tuna." Anyways, Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes is the best feud in WWE. I need to think about that, because if we're talking for the entire year, I'm hard-pressed to put it above Punk and McIntyre. But if we're saying that feud is over and we're talking about right this second, and because that feud finished in Hell in a Cell, then I would be like, okay, well, what feuds are there to compare to? We still got Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, and I believe a lot of people will think that is contender for feud of the year. I know there's still Jay and Braun Breaker, but then you got Roman versus the Bloodline. Is that better? I do think that the presentation has been very unique and awesome. So I'm going to say, because it just literally started and we really haven't had too much interaction other than the viral attack, I think I need like 2 or 3 more weeks of seeing how they play this out for me to agree with you. But I think it's on pace to being the next best feud. Now, is it the feud of the year? I would say no. But if it's the feud right now, I can see it. I can see it. And I'll probably be with you in a week. Maybe 2. Big E Cheese says, WWE should quit the Carmelo and Andrade rivalry. It's the same thing over and over with the two having a match, either just to fight or see who gets the US title shot. I get where you're coming from. And in fact, I didn't like it at first. When it was like in match 2 or 3, I was like kind of But I don't know, at some point, I think in match 4, I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel it. Doesn't look like it won you over. This isn't typically the type of storytelling that WWE does. Because WWE doesn't do it a lot, it kind of is different. And while it's not the different that's going to set the world on fire, it's the different that is standing apart. And it gives them something to do. I get why you're saying it, and it's kind of like you feel that they might be in a holding pattern, and as long as they're continuously fighting, how will they ever move up? Because they are kind of just like locked where they are. And it's like, well, are they just going to fight forever? When are they going to quit? I think number 7 is when they quit. But as Come At Me Now said earlier, I believe it's leading into a tag team. So I don't know if that's going to be better for you. I don't think it will be better for the next guy, though, because he's not feeling the tag team division. Tristan, 8735, SmackDown desperately needs a stronger mid-card division and should look to break up tag teams and strengthen it. Example, DIY. I do not agree with this statement. I'm a big proponent of tag teams. I want us to start a hashtag give tag teams a chance, because I love tag teams, and I just don't understand why wrestling promotions have such a hard time with them. And it's WWE for many years have had a hard time with tag teams. Ever since the golden age of wrestling, tag team division has been in and out. We had a strong tag team division in the Attitude Era, and then poof, it was gone again, and we haven't really had a strong tag team division in forever. They're mostly props for factions, and AEW is no better. With their tag team division, it sucks too. But I will say that I get where you're coming from. The mid-card division is just as important as the tag team division, but I don't want to sacrifice one over the other. Yeah, DIY breaking them up. If you look at DIY, when they came from NXT to the main roster, they weren't doing much. They were by themselves, and they couldn't really get over. It wasn't until they came back together as DIY that they at least started getting some screen time. I feel there's potential. There's some potential here, and I don't know. I just don't want tag teams to be broken up so we can have a mid-card division. You're right, though. The mid-card on SmackDown is a little lackluster. We have Carmelo Hayes, we have Andrade, we have LA Knight, and we have Santo Escobar. Who else is there really? There's Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin, but I mean, well, heck, they're in a tag team, but that's a tag team I wouldn't mind breaking up, but those two are like, they're not mid-card, they're like lower card. Now that Raw is 2 hours, maybe they can do a trade. Because Raw got 3 people in the original draft, maybe they can make up some rules saying, okay, well, now we got to even things out, so SmackDown can pick 3 people. Because the Raw mid-card is crazy. They are so strong. We have Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, main eventing Raw. We have Jey Uso and Braun Breaker, main eventing Raw. It's just such a strong mid-card on Raw that we just need to get some of those people over to SmackDown to beef it up. And I don't think breaking up tag teams is a solution, but I will say this. At least you came to the table with a solution. A lot of people will just complain about things and not come to the table with anything to do. They'll just say, I don't like this. At least you said, I don't like this, and here is a solution. I just don't happen to agree with your solution, but that's okay. Maybe your solution is right. It's just not something that I would do. But who knows? Maybe that's the right choice, because, like, what if they broke up the Street Profits? Montez Ford would be an awesome mid-card champion. Patrick says Roman knows he needs Jey's help and eventually asked for it. This is part of his babyface run to right his wrongs. Will Jey accept Roman? I don't know. I think Jey will accept Roman. In fact, he did a recent interview where he even said, family fights, don't worry, the bloodline will be all right. I love that Roman is actually having to make up for his sins, and that he treated his family very, very poorly. And now that he's back, he's still Roman Reigns saying, hey, I'm the best. We're the best. We're going to run this place. But he's also acknowledging him. He's like, Jimmy, thank you. Before, Roman would just expect Jimmy's help. Now, he's thanking him for Jimmy's help. And I believe that this Roman is still, like, really cocky, arrogant, and full of himself, just like the tribal chief when he was a heel, but he has some face tendencies as well. I believe that this Roman can apologize to Jey even though he doesn't want to. Because on SmackDown, there was a moment when Jimmy said, we need help, and everybody started yeeting, and even Roman was like, no yeet. Roman doesn't want to swallow his pride and apologize, but I think he will, and I love that. I did a video earlier in the year saying that Rhea needed to apologize for how she kind of brainwashed Dominic Mysterio, and everything that she is facing is her fault. And people got on me like, oh, nobody ever says that about Roman. You just say that about Rhea. I was like, no, Roman needs to apologize too. And I'm glad that he is, because no matter how much I love Roman, make no mistake about it, the guy gaslit everybody and was a horrible, horrible person to everybody around him in the pursuit of power and money as a character, and that was great. So Roman Reigns needs to apologize, and I love that they're getting the band back together in this manner, because he was so bad and so awful to Jey that we need that apology. Heel Kevin Owens is awesome, but Randy will fight him before Cody. I'm looking for Randy heel turn. I think that's right. I do think that we could have an easy Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton match at Crown Jewel as Cody fights Gunther at Crown Jewel. It's a no-brainer, really. KO is mad at Cody. Orton tried to step in, and KO got mad at Orton. Those two have been pretty good friends all of 2024, and usually it's Randy who will eventually turn on you, but KO beat him to the punch, and KO thinks he's the victim here. He's like, Cody's the one that turned by teaming up with Roman and the Bloodline, and now you're picking his side? They should fight each other before Cody gets his hands on Kevin, because Cody's preoccupied, so those two can easily have a fight, and it would make sense, and it would be a good match to have. Eventually, Randy's going to see the light that Kevin has been saying, and he will eventually turn as well, making Cody's title run even that more important, like I said earlier, as it heats up on the path to WrestleMania. Southpaw Jimmy, Los Lotharios, I apologize if I can't say the name correctly, will be shocked to find out who their opponent is, get completely overwhelmed by their ability, then in the ensuing months their opponents will get a push on par with DIY or the Creeds, which is to say not much. Okay, so Southpaw Jimmy's being a little facetious here, but basically he's alluding to the fact that the Motor City Machine Guns are coming to SmackDown next week, and they're going to fight Los Lotharios, and they'll win. And who are the Motor City Machine Guns? They're a tag team that made their name in TNA. They're an awesome tag team, actually, but surprisingly, they're in their 40s, and I'm surprised that WWE hired them and put them on the main roster, unless they're going to give them one run before they make them like road agents or just producers, because a lot of TNA talent is actually running the show backstage. Either way, they're awesome, and Southpaw Jimmy did say they're going to get a push like DIY or American Made, and that's kind of a shot at the tag team division in that, you know, they heat up a tag team division for a little bit, maybe like a 2 to 3 week run, they give them a ladder match, everybody's like, this is great, and then poof, we don't do anything with the tag team division again for a long, long time, and you could just hold the title forever and not do anything with it, which goes back to my earlier statement of, the tag team division, it needs some love. But I do believe, though, that Los Lotharios will be surprised and overwhelmed by the Motor City Machine Guns, because even at the ripe age of 40, they're awesome. And that age of 40, I think that's like the new prime number for wrestlers. It used to be like 33, 35 is when a wrestler was in their prime, but now it seems like you can go all the way to 50 before you really start showing your age. So I think we got some really good matches from the Motor City Machine Guns still ahead of us. I interrupt the video real quick because I actually read the name wrong. I referred to this person as Goth Nation 2269, but it's actually Go the Nation. I apologize. I was in the editing process when I realized that I'm an idiot and read the name wrong. Go the Nation, not Goth Nation. Goth Nation 2269. I feel like Jimmy will be on Monday Night Raw next Monday to recruit Jey. He will turn down the offer, obviously, for Jey to join the group again. It's for Solo's bloodline to cost Jey Uso's next title defense against Braun Breaker. He will then want to avenge them by joining Team Roman. Is boiling down, LOL, slowly. We're getting the original bloodline versus Thug Line. I like that, Thug Line. Never heard that before. At Survivor Series War Games. That is, I think that too. I think Jimmy will definitely 100% show up. And I like what you're saying here, though. I do like this in that he says no. That's your problem. That would be an appropriate response based on all the abuse that he took. And then Solo, in his like paranoid mind, says, I better do something to Jey to prevent him from joining. I'm going to send him a message. He then costs the title to Braun, allowing Jey to look strong, Braun to get the title back and go back onto his path as being a great Intercontinental Champion and rising star. But now Jey's mad and gets to go fight the Thug Line with Roman. That is a very good booking from Goth Nation. Great job on that one. I'm on board. Let's just do that. If Triple H is watching, do what Goth Nation said. Norman Chaffins. Orton is working with KO. I thought that at first. I was thinking that. I was like, maybe Orton is the one whispering in KO's ear. And then once that feud was done, it would be revealed that Orton was the mastermind of KO turning, and then those two would feud, Cody and Randy Orton. However, after this week's SmackDown, I just don't think so. We saw Kevin Owens actually beating down Randy Orton. While that would be an amazing, great storytelling, I think they're trying to get some matches out of this, and come the other side of War Games, that's when Randy Orton turns, and then he joins KO. So he's not on his side now, but he will be soon enough. The final hot take is from Jay Levi Now. SmackDown has the roster to do a better 3-hour show than Raw. It is so crazy to me that people want a 3-hour wrestling show. God, 3-hour Raw was so bad until this year. 2024 is the year that we got an awesome, good 3-hour wrestling show, and then they took it away from us. And now there's rumors that SmackDown's going to go 3 hours, and now I just heard rumors that they're not going to go 3 hours. I think when we get to Netflix, it'll go back to 2 to 3 hours, but until then, is SmackDown the better show primed for it? Maybe when the Bloodline is at its full power and peak, because we used to get like 20, 30, 45-minute Bloodline promos. If we were going to get those kind of promos again, then absolutely 3 hours would be the way to go with SmackDown. Personally, I don't want a 3-hour show. I like when the 3-hour show is special. Like, if they did a 3-hour show every 2 months, I would be hyped for that. But when they do a 3-hour show every week, I don't know. But I will say this. I will say that I was enjoying 3-hour Raw, and the 2-hour Raw that just happened, it was very jarring. It reminded me of the Attitude Era, how quick everything was, and at some points I really appreciated it, and at some points I didn't. And for example, the 10-woman tag match, you know what, when you're trying to spotlight everyone, you're spotlighting no one. Don't do 10 women match. Just spotlight 2 or 4 women at a time, and that'll go better in the long run. Have a month spotlighting one feud, and then go to another feud following month. But SmackDown, we're talking SmackDown. If that's how you feel, I can see it. And even though I'm not necessarily hyped for a 3-hour SmackDown, I think I would like it still, because I'm confident now that WWE knows how to produce a 3-hour show, and there would be many benefits to it, because sometimes I wish LA Knight was on the program more, and this would allow LA Knight to get more airtime. This would allow Chelsea Green to really get more airtime, and I could see a lot of benefit from it, especially now that Roman's back. And heck, once the final boss actually starts talking, he's not stopping, so 3 hours would definitely benefit the bloodline as we move into WrestleMania season. So there you go, guys and girls. Hot takes from you. I'll do more of these as we move forward. I'll ask after Raw, after SmackDown on the YouTube community tab. And again, if I get 5 or 6, I can do a video on them. I appreciate you taking time to comment and watch the video. Please have a great day.